I'm just talking, top rope walking, ultimate Xing, serious flexing, never be vague with your boy Craig, and opinion mixing from Pete to Nixon, keep doing things in an impactful way, bloody nonsense as the Brits say, talking bloody nonsense.
Yes, it's me, it's the MIC, Craig, aka Mr. Impact. Joined as ever by the one and only Peter Nixon. This is Talking Bloody Nonsense, episode 11, right here on the TNA IW channel. It's a new week, it's a new Impact, but first things first, Nixon, how's it going?
Well, it's, we record this on a Wednesday. It's currently half-time at Anfield, and Norwich are 2-0 down in the FA Cup. I'm going to keep the game on in the background, so if you see me do this at any point, something's happening at Anfield. I'll keep you updated on the score. Not that you'll need my update because it'll be a day old when this goes out, but otherwise fine and dandy, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, all good. Literally just come down with a cold, so not a great start, but it's okay.
Just a cold, is it? Yeah.
Just a cold, yeah.
Okay.
It's focusing in the nose, so I know it's a cold.
Right.
But yeah, just been. I watched the Tinder Swindler, as suggested.
Oh, you did. What do you think of it?
I mean, just wow.
What a douchebag, right?
Yeah, it's insane. But that's the world.
I can't believe he's a free man and he's out there just living his best life still. It's unbelievable.
It's batshit,
and those poor girls are having to pay back all that money. They're still in debt.
Yeah, it's completely batshit.
That was a massive spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen Tinder Swindler.
It's been out for like, what, a month now?
Yeah, true. It's not a spoiler at this point.
I think for those of you who just heard the notifications, that was our TNIW Twitter group.
Yes. Yeah, that was the buzzing off my phone.
Yeah, at the same time on both mine as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Power Rankings Committee, if you'd like to join the Power Rankings Committee, then just hit one of us up from the channel and we'll add you in. So you can decide who should be number one in the Power Rankings for each week on Impact. But anywho, we have a lot to discuss with this being Sacrifice Weekend. But before we get into Sacrifice and everything coming up this week on Impact, I want to almost take us back in time for the British wrestling fans and the British wrestling scene. Because I recently watched a few clips and a few matches, old school matches, of the likes of Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy, Pat Roach, Klondike Kate, the Klondike Brothers, some big personalities, and how the fans watching and how the people watching and how times have changed in British wrestling. Because, you go back and you look at all the old clips, you have women in the front row hitting wrestlers with their handbags. You have and also they also made a point of that there was more women in attendance for shows than there were men in some cases, which we see that a lot now. So I want to get your thoughts on it, because in the comments it seems to be a lot of people saying that was better then, this was better then. Now I've gone back and forth on this quite a few times, because it's almost like when you look at the wrestlers then, they certainly had big personalities, and they were part of mainstream TV over here. You look particularly Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, and of course Pat Roach, Bomber, for as you don't know, from Obvious and Pet here in the UK, which great comedy, if you can call it comedy. But
yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah, so it was definitely more mainstream than it is today. But obviously, there's the big difference in the social media trend of you don't really need to be on TV to be over. I want to get your thoughts on just where the scene was, considering like all the buzz around it, with the big names and to where it is now? Because it's been very much up and down with British wrestling, but it seems to be steadying and slowly rising again. So I want to get your thoughts on where it was now, where it was then, and kind of where it is now. Your take on old school British wrestling is.
Well, where do you start? It's a massive subject. The way I picture old school British wrestling, you had two different types of wrestlers and two different types of matches. You had the big characters like Big Daddy, Haystacks, Catweasel, Bomber Pat Roach, people like that. You also had your wrestlers, Johnny Saint, Kid McCoy, Dynamite Kid, people like that. What you said about women in the crowd with their handbags getting really riled up by the villains like Jim Breaks, people like that. Old school fantastic villains that could really, they were hilarious if you go back and watch them now, knowing what we know about wrestling these days. Jim Breaks was brilliant at getting under your skin, really riling up, the old women in the crowd. And you still see aspects of that at shows today, especially more sort of, I don't know if old school is the word, but companies like WAW that still present their product as more of a sporting event. People still believe in a lot of cases, and it's because of that, the old school World of Sport days, that people really bought into it. What I remember about going back and watching the old footage of World of Sport, because I think it went off the air the year I was born, so unfortunately I wasn't able to watch it as it happened, but being able to, YouTube's a wonderful thing. Going back and watching all the old stuff, the wrestling matches didn't contain a lot of psychology. It was a sporting event. It was great wrestling, and it was wrestlers trying to outwit each other with their wrestling, but you saw a lot of repetition, a lot of really obviously choreographed wrestling moves, but not a lot of psychology, zero selling. And the way the business has evolved, especially for British wrestling, British wrestling is very much influenced by American wrestling these days. You don't see a lot of that old school style. We've talked about it before in the past. That old school style is kind of dying out, but people want to see something different. So what's old is new again. If a wrestler can come along that can be a master of that old school style, but still mix in the psychology and the high spots and the crowd interaction, aspects of American wrestling, you can combine those two, you've got a wrestler that can really thrive on today's scene. And the only person that really comes to mind that has mastered this sort of hybrid style is Zack Sabre Jr. And he's really doing well with it. Unfortunately, you don't see him as much over here these days. He's based in Japan. Good for him. He's doing great with it. I don't really know what else to say on it. I've gone off on a massive tangent, as we always do. That's my thoughts, my immediate thoughts on the subject. What are your thoughts on the old school British stuff, Craig? And then we can revisit what I've missed.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about companies still keeping up that traditional old school style of mentality of wrestling, and one promotion for me springs to mind. It's PWL, called Pro Wrestling Live. They're based in the Black Country, and they've got a show coming up where they've gone properly old school. Like the poster, old school poster, The rules, like I think most wrestling matches were 2 out of 3 falls. Like they started off as 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, and it was 3-minute rounds.
Yes,
10
like
3-minute rounds.
Yeah, so and it's a great a veteran of British wrestling, Mad Dog Max, who doesn't necessarily get much appreciation for stuff he's done, particularly in the Black Country and West Midlands. He's great, and he's facing Doug Williams.
Ooh.
So it should be a great, because they both have similar styles in the sense that they've grown up on the old school wrestling, but they've also been around and they picked up the current style of wrestling and can do it both, do it well. So it's been inspiring for me because on their roster, one half of their current tag team champions is Scrubber Daily, and their former PWL Great British Champion is the Rock and Roll Express Bob Barrett.
Yeah, Blondie Barrett.
They got some proper old school wrestlers on there, and the Scrubber Daily came out. There was some fans around, and they were booming because they believed it was still real. It's a couple. It's at my first ever PWL show. One of the wrestlers, I think they legitimately were hurt, but I can't be sure because it's wrestling. They could be really hurt, or they could be selling it. So. But I was having a conversation with someone at the bar and said, "Do you reckon it really hurts?" And I haven't been there personally, but I'm pretty sure it does really hurt. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's wood and steel, so I'm pretty sure that hurts. Yeah, so it was just it's fascinating things. I've never really experienced that before. Like every time I've been to a wrestling show before that. Like everyone there kind of already knew, they know what it's about, but they still want to enjoy it and get involved, which I'm all about. And I was having a conversation again at a separate PWL show, and I was talking with one of the referees, and someone else came in and joined the conversation. I'm talking about again, oh, is it actually real? Which again, you don't hear that much because everyone kind of knows. Again, people know that it's what it's all about. So to hear that aspect of stuff, or another one springs to mind, my third eldest sister, she wasn't a wrestling fan, but she's for 2 straight months now she's been to kamikaze shows. She never liked wrestling before, never watched wrestling before, but she went to kamikaze shows twice and really enjoyed them, got into them. And it's interesting dynamic because Doris and at the last show got hurt. It was facing Chris Ridgway and hurt his knee. And I was telling her that he's got to go and wrestle in Cambridge later now, so he'll probably leave me straight away now. And she went, "How's he going to wrestle when he's already hurt his knee?" Part of me wants to tell her, but part of me doesn't. She's an adult, so she should understand. But I wish I could feel that way about wrestling, and that's how it was back then. So when we go to how it is now, there's a lot of amazing, fantastic wrestlers on this scene, and actual wrestlers who understand. Like I said, adopting the American style a bit more. We had our own style that got taken. Then we tried to find another style, the tribute shows. It was like a random bingo hall somewhere, or in the back of a casino, maybe, or in a pub. You get Kane and Undertaker and DX, obviously, and they literally were cosplay shows. So, but see where it is now. It obviously, if WS was before my time, well, the sport was way before my time. But again, I know the backstory of it. You hear these wrestlers' names and you know who they are because they almost transcended wrestling of that time. Particularly Big Daddy, who was just a star everywhere he went. Even after he retired wrestling, he was still shown on TV. But then wrestling kind of got saw as something bad and something negative, so it was taken out of mainstream, which obviously very unfortunate because it was great when it was mainstream, but to see where it is now is very cool, because you have some of the very, very best wrestlers in the world. And but I think I go to Kamikaze, or I go to a Rev Pro show, and everyone is fantastic. I can't pick out a bad wrestler. Like, that everyone can put on fantastic matches in everywhere on the card against anyone. So even the youngsters are putting on great matches. When like 3 or 4 years in, they can still go. So it's interesting to see where it all is now. But like, my brother-in-law says that wrestling was better when it was Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, and and again, he said it was fake, which as a fan, that annoys me, because I can only imagine what's like as a wrestler hearing the word it's fake. I can only imagine. So, but I was saying that, but these, you mentioned like Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, they're the only two we can mention though. Like, so it's one of those things. I said the wrestlers we're going to see tonight would arguably out wrestle them, those two, as characters and as like, you know, like larger than life characters. Like, they're the best. But these wrestlers can out wrestle them in any era. I mean, there's a few who maybe would stand up in this era, like Johnny Saint, or potentially Rollerball Rocco. Yeah, so you've got a few there who maybe could transcend in this era if they started in this era. But it is interesting, the fact that there are still a few who try to keep that old school mentality, but it is slowly fading away, in the sense that you've got these wrestlers who they don't need to be on TV every week, even though obviously it would help, and obviously the money would be a big bonus in that. But you can get over on social media. You can get over by posting a clip on YouTube. You don't need the exposure that wrestlers used to have. So it's interesting to see where it is now, and see British wrestling has taken dips here and there, and I would argue, if you're saying that Impact kind of had a pretty big part in getting the British wrestling back up. When British Boot Camp came around, it was still there, but I didn't know about it. I had no clue you could actually go watch wrestling in like a town hall or somewhere. But I knew that you could back in like the 70s or whatever. Because my nan used to go, and my nan doesn't like wrestling, or she didn't like wrestling. So it's like a show in Malvern or something, just randomly, because there's nothing else on. So it's interesting, because but what's your take on maybe Impact helping the scene get back up to another level to help it build more and more to where it is currently?
I need to advance on a few points you made just then. So when people say, "Is it real?" Oh no, it's all fake, and it's all choreographed. You know, you rehearse all the moves and that. Maybe it's choreographed. Maybe we do it on the fly. You know, who's to say? But as far as being fake, that is the worst word you can use when you're talking to a wrestler, and I hear it every day. But broken arm, held together with metal, broken scapula, shoulder blade, broken scaphoid, scarred for life there and there. It hurts, and it has affected my life forever. So I work in a pub. I run a pub called the Portland Arms in Cambridge. Cheap plug. When customers find out that I'm a wrestler, the two names I hear not more often than not, every single fucking time, Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks. It's like they're the only two wrestlers that ever existed.
Yeah.
And I sound like I'm annoyed about it, but fair play to them. They obviously made an impression on the British public in the 80s. But when you go back and actually look at it, Big Daddy's run was like 2 years. and they only had a couple of matches, Daddy and Haystacks, but they build to them, and they were big draws. I think they wrestled at Wembley, the old Wembley arena.
Yeah.
But yeah, Daddy's run was like 2 years, and he only got to that point because his brother Max Crabtree was the promoter. Also, from what I understand, Shirley Crabtree, Big Daddy, was a prick. Really, he had to be nice to the kids when he met them, obviously, but when he got backstage, he was a right dickhead. I obviously can't verify that. Unfortunately, Big Daddy's no longer here to defend himself. But yeah, I hear those names every single day, and I long for a point where I hear Johnny Saint, Jim Breaks, the Rollerball Rocco, people like that. You brought up the tribute shows. I used to go to WAW shows back when I was in my teens, early teens, and Ricky Knight used to do the Legend of Doom. He was Road Warrior Animal. We had UK Undertaker, and my friend Bruce, who used to wrestle. I think he wants to make a comeback. I'd love to see him make a comeback because he was great. He used to wrestle as Bash. Look up his stuff because he was a lot of fun. But he was UK Kane, and Kirk, who wrestles as Hot Stuff. He was X-Pac. Oh no, Sex Pack. And they wrestled in front of packed houses because, American wrestling, the Attitude Era, was huge, even over here. So they could play to packed houses every night of the week. So, during this period where the British wrestling has essentially died, and American wrestling is all you can see on British television, why wouldn't you make the most of it and do these tribute shows? Because they made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
So to answer your point about Impact Wrestling, about TNA bringing British wrestling back to the forefront, I think it's absolutely correct. Because for a long time, WWE was the only show in town, especially when you look at, from a British point of view. So when TNA got its TV deal on Bravo, then moved over to Challenge, it was more readily available for British, TV watchers, because, WWE was on Sky Sports at the time. You couldn't watch it. I mean, there was a short period where they were on Channel 4 on a Sunday. We got heat. We didn't get Raw or SmackDown. We got heat. That's how much WWE thought of us. And WCW was on Channel 5 for a while, but then, of course, they went bust. And that was just a recap package of Nitro and Thunder. That was a lot of fun. Side note, if you ever watched the old school Batman, 1966, Adam West, WCW Worldwide, shown on Channel 5 over here, they used to do, with weapon shots, how WWF panned to the crowds, you didn't see the chair shots. WCW would put the big pow, kablam graphics in front of the weapons, which is a lot of fun for me, being a big Batman fan.
Yeah.
Another tangent. I do apologise. But yeah, when I've spoken about it before, when TNA toured over here the first time, I went to see them at Brentwood in Essex, and they said, next time we're coming back, we're coming to the Manchester Evening News Arena, Birmingham National Arena, I think it was already, NEC, you can't remember, and we're going to do Wembley. I said, bollocks, are you going to fill Wembley? And sure enough, I went to Wembley 6 months later, and there's 8,000 people there. So yeah, it was very important, especially when TNA was showcasing British wrestlers like Doug Williams, like Nick Aldis. And then they had Johnny Moss on one of the shows wrestling Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, it was very important for British wrestling, and it meant that shows like ICW and Progress could then go to these arenas like the Hydro in Glasgow and Wembley, and sell a lot of tickets there because TNA had already built that market up. So yeah, there's a lot of very important stuff TNA has done.
So,
go on, sorry.
I was just going to say that reminds me of when Grado first probably came to TNA, that he said that his dream is to wrestle in the Hydra in Glasgow, and they hadn't actually done that with ICW at this point. But a few years later, ICW goes to the Hydro and Grado wins the world title there, which I think Mick Foley's referee or something.
That's right.
Yeah, so TNA Impact, they've always cared about British wrestling fans, and a lot of that credit has to go to JB.
Massively.
JB was a big advocate for British wrestling and British fans. And TNA Impact, they were running the same venues as WWE over here, and I don't think I'm not too familiar on WCW whether they. I know they came over here. I don't know how big of a deal it was, but I mean, let's just say that's right off there. But British wrestling has changed. It's developing, which is a good thing, but it's still some people out there like Doug Williams and Scrubber Daly. I think he's in his mid 70s now, and he's a tag team champion. And he's lost a lot of weight. He's not as big as he once was, but for a character like that, you don't need to be. You don't need to be moving around because he's got a character. And people, the old school fans know him, and now the new school fans, they get to know him and booing the crap out of him. So, oh wow, we really talked on that one for quite some time. We've nearly got half the show. So, okay, I think now we'll move on now, because I think a good conversation to have, and one I've never wanted to have for a while. So now we'll move on for the Impact fans now, and we'll start off with our first step of heading. It's Sacrifice this Saturday. Impact Plus, Impact Insiders, and Fight for $9.99 with alternative commentary again from Tracy Brooks, SoCal Val, and Tara. So again, I can't order it because I've already got the Insiders, so just can't waste money. But I want to check that one out if I can. But yeah, so Sacrifice we have. We'll just go through the card and give our thoughts on the card so far, because I said off camera or out of not off camera, but away from before we start recording, that Sacrifice almost crept up on me. I wasn't expecting it quite, but here we are. It's this weekend, and we have for the Impact World Championship, we had Moose versus Heath, which has been a lot of contention towards that, but we'll get to that. Finally, it's the Influence versus Inspiration. It's Jonah versus PCO. Violent by Design versus the Good Brothers for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. It's either Chelsea Green or Tasha Steelz versus Mickey James for the Knockouts World Championship. I assume we're going to have a champ challenge, but hasn't been announced. Maybe they won't announce it, but I assume we'll get one. It's Trey versus Jake Something for the X Division Championship. Eddie Edwards is facing Rhino, and Jay White is facing Alex Shelley. I hope I haven't missed any there, but that's the card so far. What's your thoughts on it, and what sticks out to you straight away as a match to watch?
From watching No Surrender and the previous Plus specials, they jam these shows with lots of matches because they don't fill the time with talking. It's a lot of action on an Impact Plus special, so you can get away with doing 9 or 10 matches, really, especially with the pre-show as well. So I expect there will be more matches announced on Impact. But yeah, it should be another really fun show. And I think it's going on a bit earlier, so it doesn't go up against AEW Revolution. Oh no, Revolution is on Sunday, isn't it? So I'm guessing it'll be normal time.
Oh, it's Sunday morning for us, Monday morning for AEW.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it'll be the 12:30 a.m. start for the pre-show over here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and stay up for it. No guarantees.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonah and PCO is one I'm really looking forward to. That should be, a slugfest, heavy, hard hitting match. I love PCO, and Jonah has been great in his role. Jeff has been talking about it on the mothership. I don't know how long Jonah's sticking around, but he's been great, and I hope he sticks around longer. But I won't be offended if he dips in and out.
No.
Jay White and Alex Shelley, like you said, bit out of nowhere. But yeah, that should be a really cool wrestling match. You got a lot of things to satisfy a lot of people's tastes on this show. You got potentially 3 women's matches, 4 if they do one on the pre-show as well. You got the X Division title match, which should be a lot of fun. World title. I know people have been negative towards Heath getting a title match, but Moose needs to get high-profile victories under his belt in this title reign, which I assume is going to go to Bound for Glory. I can't see it ending before then. And Heath is a big name, high profile. The I Got Kids thing on WWE was huge business. He sold a lot of shirts, and he was massively popular. So it doesn't offend me whatsoever that Heath is getting a title match. I'm sure the match will be fine. Probably not match of the year, but yeah, I'm certainly not against it. I don't know about you.
I'm all for it. Like, I get it. Like, again, this is because it came out of nowhere, and Heath's momentum got stalled a lot, which obviously wasn't his fault.
No,
but it didn't help because obviously I assume it was going to be Heath and Rhino winning the tag team titles after Bound for Glory, something like that. But obviously Heath unfortunately got suffered from a hernia in the Bound for the what's it called again?
the Call Your Shot Gauntlet.
Like they used to call it the Bound for Glory or the Gauntlet for Gold, whatever it was. So I get confused sometimes. But so I don't mind. I'm all for it. Heath, he came in. His first match was against Moose. Cool that he's getting a world title shot because I think the only world title shot Heath got was when the WWE title was on the line in the Royal Rumble. I think that's the only time Heath has necessarily been in with the shout winning world title. So I don't mind. Moose almost needs a palate cleanse. It's gone through this long feud with Morrissey, and then Josh Alexander before that. So it's almost like a palate cleanser. No one's thinking he's going to win, unfortunately, because he just hasn't. He's been in and out a bit. Obviously, recently wasn't his fault either because COVID, that dastardly COVID. But yeah, I don't mind it. Apart from that, I like my phone. Yeah, Jonah versus PCO should be good. Influence versus Inspiration. I've almost if this doesn't happen this time, scrap it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen where it doesn't happen this time, scrap the match because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, the match is snake bit. If it doesn't go on at Sacrifice, it's snake bit, and we'd never see it.
Just scrap it. I mean, again, it's not down to the wrestlers. It's down to COVID again. But I think if it doesn't happen now, just don't bother. I'm hoping. I'd like to see them in this match make Caleb as a referee for it. I think that'll make it a bit different, and see where his loyalties lie and all that.
That would keep people guessing at least, because I think it's fairly obvious that the Inspiration will retain. So yeah, that would add a nice little hook for the match.
Right, and it's because it kind of needs something, and because we've been waiting on it for what, since Hard to Kill just
Yeah.
happened, right?
Mm.
That's a long time. I think they've announced it 4 times now. That's a
Something
match
like
of
that.
times. Yeah,
It's meant
so
to go on Impact, then meant to be on No Surrender. So yeah, this will be the 4th time.
yeah, so let's just get it done. I'm not that interested in it anymore. The Caleb thing's adding a bit more to it, but not enough for me to be, oh, this match is going to be great. Because it's supposed to happen a while ago. Yeah, we've got Shelley versus Jay White. I thought they were going to do something last week on Impact to work it in, work something, but it's not. It's just a match that's going to happen. Be a great match, but nothing. You've got the added thing of Shelley being Jay White's mentor and trainer, so that's a cool aspect of it. I like that type of stuff. But it's gonna be a banging match. VBD versus Go Brothers, again, cool. If it's, I think it's EY and Doring.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for that. I'm all for that. What I'm looking for, that that mix of the two. That's those two in it. Whatever that combination. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm weirdly enjoying the combination of the big LG and Joe Doring.
Yeah.
I think as a team they were fun. Brothers by Design or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing those two go at it in a tag team situation.
Yeah, it should be a cracking card. I guarantee there'll be more matches announced because that's only. Okay, that's 8 matches. So maybe they'll add one more, maybe 2 to the pre-show. I'm slightly worried in the fact that every time they've gone to the Davis Arena, the signal's kind of been a bit crap for the shows. Sacrifice, I think it was 2 years ago. Like Ace Austin tried to do the Sign and Math promo, didn't have a microphone, and it just didn't work. Same with Throwback Throwdown.
Yeah.
Bit packed from there. So I'm a bit worried about that. But provided everything goes well and Impact use their production team and not one from OVW, maybe then it will go a bit better.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the Davis Arena isn't a great building. It's not very big. They can do better. I don't know why they're doing it there. I guess because it's easy.
Yeah, I think Sacrifice is the only one. Is the only thing taking place at the Davis Arena. I think they're going somewhere else for the TV tapings.
Oh, okay.
So I hope that's the case. I believe that's the case. I think there's some sort of pavilion. I think.
Right.
Moose and Mickey James are doing promo work for it, so I assume. I get why they use the Davis Arena because obviously OVW is still technically their developmental, which I think that's starting to finally take notice of because I think it's Aria Fox. Moose and Mickey James went to OVW last week, and I think it's Aria Fox. I'm butchering the name. I apologize. He's got a Impact World Title match at these set tapings.
Okay.
So I'm all for that. So yeah, it should be decent pay-per-view. Fingers crossed, no technical issues, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be a cracking card. So now we move on to our second subheading, and it's the Impact pre review. We had Moose. Last week's Impact, we had Moose opening the show to be challenged by Heath. Moose saying how every person he steps in the ring with has changed and not for the better. Although I disagree with Matt Cardona not changing for the better. I think that one is a bit of a stretch because Matt Cardona has changed for the better. That was cool. The Impact guys backstage to meet Heath. Got them all telling them that you can't, by any means necessary, you can't put your hands on Eddie because he wants to hear what Eddie has to say at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
They agree, but Scott D'Amore then gave Rhino a match with Eddie at Sacrifice coming up, so we'll soon see. Scott D'Amore's then approached I don't know more as they were making their way in. A nice little thing from Mike Bennett and Moose. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I know you. I like that.
I liked the pairing of those two from back like 6 years ago. I thought they were quite a good pairing. And then they did a blow-off match on one of the one night only shows, one of the only ever live one night only shows, and it was cracking. Really good match. So I hope to see more interaction with those two.
I like the continuity. Jeff mentioned it on the ship, on the mothership, but yeah, it's continuity, and I like it because I'm all for that. Then we had the opening match. It was Matt Condoner defeated Jordan Grace for the digital media to retain the digital media world championship in a dark combat match, which was just, yeah. The Inspiration and Influence continue their feud. Cassie Lee slapped Madison Raymond in the face, leading to a singles match coming up this week on Impact. Which, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably noticed that I saw that. I tweeted out that I want to see more TV matches from the Inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done. I think they've had 3 TV matches, I believe. I think that's about it since they've arrived. So I want to see more. So I'm glad we're getting something else. Then we had Bhupinder Gurjar defeat John Skyler with Brian Myers on alternative commentary. Before W. Morrissey came out and attacked Brian Myers, and then beat the hell out of John Skyler. Deonna Purrazzo in the Champ Challenge defended against Lady Frost for the AAA Reina de Reinas, which Deonna Purrazzo won before Giselle Shaw came out to steal the spotlight. Jonah defeated Zicky Dice before then a post-match attack by Jonah. Jonah heads backstage. Gail Kim says he can't do that. Jonah says, I want a bigger challenge. Fine, you get Jonah next week at Sacrifice. Cool.
PCO.
Main event. Yeah, PCO. What did I say?
You said Jonah.
Okay. Jonah gets PCO at Sacrifice. Yeah. There's nothing up there, apparently. And the main event match, we had OGK and Kenny King of Honor No More defeating the Soldiers, William Mack and Rich Swann and Chris Sabin, before Eddie Edwards came out to make his explanation. Eddie explained why he did it, because Impact didn't give him a chance to win the world title back when AEW were over there, which, like, it's supposed to be a heel turn, and I that wasn't very heelish from Eddie because it was spot on. And then Alicia Edwards came out. Apparently, I mean, yeah, Alicia came out, and Eddie said, "This is my family now. You can come or you don't, whatever." Yeah, get your thoughts on that. I think the main focus probably was Eddie Edwards' explanation, but yeah, we should take on that because I mean, Deonna Purrazzo and Lady Frost had a banging match.
Yeah, sorry, my attention was diverted then because it's 2-1 at Anfield with 15 minutes left. So come on, you Yarrows, on the ball, City.
Anyone but Liverpool. Anyone but Liverpool.
I got a soft spot for Liverpool. I wouldn't be offended if they go and win the FA Cup, but good old Norwich. So I want to start by talking about BTI. I'm wearing my Ace Austin shirt representing today. So the match on BTI last week was Ace Austin and Speedball Mike Bailey versus Jake Something and Trey Miguel. And what a hell of a tag team match. Unbelievable. And I think there's two possible reasons the match was so good. One, the 4 wrestlers wanted to show Scott D'Amore and Impact Management, we shouldn't be on BTI. This match should be on the main show. Either that, or Scott D'Amore said to him, "We're building BTI. We want this to be must-see television, as well as Impact Wrestling. So if you go out and have a banging match, more people will tune into BTI, and that's probably the intention. Go out and have absolute classic and get more eyes on BTI. And they did a hell of a job in doing that, and I was very impressed. And cool to see Ace Austin pick up a win on the number one contender, because that builds, I know it's 50-50 booking, which I don't really care, it just builds more challenges for the X Division title, because the number one contender just lost to Ace Austin. So, if Jake something, if he beats Trey Miguel, or if he doesn't, Ace Austin has a legit claim to be the next challenger. So, yeah, it makes sense to me, but I know some people don't like 50-50 booking. So, where to start on Impact? Deonna Purrazzo and Lady Frost had a really good match. I think we'll probably see Giselle Shaw versus Lady Frost on Sacrifice.
Yeah, I'm guessing the countdown, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good match for that show. Lady Frost is someone that I never really knew existed until she popped up on Impact, but she's so impressive. The stuff she does in the ring and just her look in general, she stands out more so than any other knockout, in my opinion. From the gimmick to the hairstyle to the outfit to the moves she does, I think she's a future champion. I honestly do. Whether they bring in someone to team with her and she goes to the Knockouts tag titles, or even go for the main championship, the Knockouts World Championship, I see her getting that at some point.
Yeah, sure.
Cool to see Jonah destroy Zicky Dice. I really liked. I weren't offended by the Bhupinder Gujar versus John Skyler match. John Skyler still doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. But cool to see the W. Morrissey Brian Myers thing carrying on, because it gives them both something to do, in this transitional period for them. And then, the main event was a lot of fun. The 6-man tag ended a bit abruptly, but it was all to build up for the best promo Eddie Edwards has ever cut, and that led on to the best piece of business Alicia has been involved with. I thought those two knocked it out of the park. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And it obviously came from the heart for Eddie, because he should have been getting those opportunities at the world title when Kenny Omega was the champion. So he obviously, he probably didn't voice his displeasure at the time. I doubt he was really offended, but it gave him some ammo for that promo, and I felt he just smashed it. I thought it was fantastic. Overall, I wouldn't say it was the most eventful episode of Impact in the last few months, because Impact has been incredible since just before Hard to Kill. This year basically Impact has been fantastic, and it was a really good episode. Again, not quite as eventful as the previous episodes, but still really good. Still building up to the future shows, which is the job of the weekly television, to build up to the next pay-per-views. They're just carrying on doing a cracking job every week. It makes me excited for Thursday night every week.
Yeah, they are smashing it, and that promo from Eddie, just like that, it's supposed to be a heel turn for Eddie, but that was very, like, I understand it, and I still back him because of it. Like, I'm still pissed off he did it, but like, I wanted Eddie to be the one to beat Kenny Omega. I really did, but I can understand they're going with Moose and Sammy and all that. So I understand it, because Eddie was the champion at the start of all that.
And the fact that Eddie beat Kenny in a tag team match on Impact but never got a shot at the title, I wonder if that's long-term story building, or just a happy coincidence. But
Yeah.
still, bringing up that fact was masterful in my opinion.
It was great. And yeah, I feel very sorry for Zicky Dice because he finally got an entrance. He finally got his show some personality.
Yeah, he's got a video
Gets squashed
screen.
by Jonah. Yeah, and just gets squashed by Jonah, literally and figuratively. Just even after the match, he gets squashed. That tsunami. Ah, jeez.
I tell you what, it just looks like obviously it looks savage. It looks like it really hurts, but knowing how to take a move like that, it looks quite comfortable.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I wouldn't want to take it, but I'm not wrestling, so who knows? But yeah, OGK, Kenny King, Woody Mack, and Sabin Swan. Cool match. I like the proton pack finisher. I think that's a great finishing move.
The Broton pack. Yeah, I don't mind the move, but the name is a bit corny.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that, but I thought it's a good move. I do like the name. It gives me a bit of a nerdy pop. But
yeah, but what about them? What about OGK screams Ghostbusters?
that's bad.
It's literally just to pop themselves.
Yeah. I mean,
so, every wrestler does it. I do it. My one of my finishes ever since my very first match as Peter Nixon. One of my signature moves is called Roadhouse, and that's just to pop the boys.
yeah.
Because on that day we thought it was the funniest thing ever, and it's lasted now 10 years.
Fair enough. Yeah, Donna Peraza and Lady Frost, great match. Interesting that Lady Frost went for the Reina de Reinas, which I'm all for. Bupinda and Skylar, okay, happened.
Yeah,
cool.
just the same as before.
I mean, the spear from middle rope looks good.
Yeah,
but I'm not completely sold on Bupinda yet. But he's only just arrived, so like I said, with Impact, you've got to give it time. You've got to give him the benefit.
I know. I think was it Max or Jeff was saying about how his gimmick is, the stereotypical Indian gimmick,
Yeah.
which most Indian wrestlers, they carry those gimmicks, but I don't have an issue with it because they're celebrating their heritage, and India is such a big market for wrestling and specifically for Impact that
Huge.
You need a champion of that culture on your show and to showcase them well. And I think Bhupinder Gujjar is doing a good job of that.
Yeah, and they haven't immediately stuck him with Raj Singh, or Garma. So
yeah,
no, it's cool. I enjoyed it for what it was, but still not completely sold. But like I said, I'm going to give it time. So now, yeah, we're going to be running a little bit over. Apologies, but it's a big weekend for Impact and wrestling in general again. So this was Impact. There's only even 4 matches been announced, but it's like a good 4 matches. We have Johnny Swingler versus Jonah, Cassie Lee versus Madison Rain, Steve Macklin versus Eddie Edwards, and Chelsea Green versus Tasha Steelz in a number contenders match for the Knockouts World Championship. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Who can see winning? And just should be another decent Impact.
I think Macklin and Eddie is going to be fantastic. Macklin impresses me every week. I think he's brilliant. He became one of my what would you say, channel switcher, fast forward button when he was on WWE to one of my favorite people to watch. He's just knocking it out of the park every week. I love him. I think he's tremendous. And him and Eddie, Eddie is the low-key best bout machine in Impact. So, yeah, I think those two will have a absolute banger.
Yeah.
And then the Chelsea Tasha match, I can see that going to some sort of no contest and it being made a 3-way at the pay-per-view. We'll get to the sacrifice predictions in a moment, but yeah, I think it becomes a 3-way. I'd be more interested in a 3-way than I would Mickey versus Tasha again or Mickey versus Chelsea.
Yeah. See, I've made my feelings clear on Chelsea Green, so I'm not going to go into it. I'm just not interested in this match. I'm just. It should be a good match, and since that they can both go, and if I want Tasha to win. I really do. And I like Tasha's comment on Twitter a couple days ago that if she loses, she's going to retire and become a TNA cage dancer. Great stuff from Tasha there. I mean, I still want
aged well. The old, it's 20 years old now, but the cage dancers, Lollipop and whoever, I can't remember the names of the other girls.
Did they have names? I generally didn't know they had names.
Lollipop was one of them.
Yeah. I seen a bit of that. I've watched most of these Asylum years, but I didn't know they had names.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I saw, when I watched Asylum years was I think it was the Midnight Express. No, it was the Dups. It's supposed to be the Dups versus the Midnight Express, but but I think it was Midnight Express.
You sure it wasn't the Rainbow Express?
Rainbow Express. Oh wow, yeah, it's a big leap. Yeah, Rainbow Express. Excuse me. The Ducks wouldn't wrestle them, so James Storm and Chris Harris took their place. They wrestled in jeans. That's the last thing I saw. I believe so, anyway. I don't know. Maybe it was R-Truth, Ron Killings winning the world title.
Oh yeah,
one of the other.
From Shamrock.
Yeah. So I don't know which one I thought that's one I watched was, but yeah. I didn't know their names, but yeah, Chelsea Green, Tasha Steelz. I want Tasha to win because I want Tasha to be Knockouts champion. So Macklin versus Eddie, yeah, it's gonna be a banging match. Kind of got different styles, but also quite similar styles. So interesting to see how that works out. Cassie Lee, I'm a huge inspiration guy, but it's Madison Rain as well. I'm all for seeing more Madison Rain because she's a legend and will inevitably be a Hall of Famer. If this is her last year, I think she's going to the Hall of Fame this year, unless it's Jeff Hardy. It's going to be one of those two, I think. Shit.
Oh, there's so many people you can put in.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
I'd love to see AJ go in if WWE will give him the weekend off.
Yeah, I mean, what's October? What's that? I don't think what pay-per-view week, what pay-per-view month that is for in October.
Oh, I can't keep track. They're probably in Saudi Arabia.
Probably. I think it might be. Is it Survivor Series?
No, Survivor Series is November.
Okay, so
I don't know. Survivor Series in Saudi Arabia.
Probably.
You heard it here first. Survivor Series this year is in Saudi Arabia.
Someone clip that.
Stamp it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also seeing Cassie Lee, Madison Rain. That's the Hall of Fame. Just going on a quick tangent. I think it needs to be AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, or Madison Rain. I'm going to say those three. So I'm excited to see who it is. And then Johnny Swingler versus Jonah. I mean, I hope this works out more for Swinger in the fact that it's a longer match than Zicky Dice does. But I'm also hoping, I've been saying this for years, since Zicky Dice was in NWA, I want the team of Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice. I want that team. Yeah, it's not going to be it's not going to be like tag team title winning team. But it'll be an entertaining team with a great, funny dynamic, which Impact do comedy very well. And those two very entertaining wrestlers should be a good tag team. So I'm all for it.
I still need to see what's going on in Swinger's Dungeon.
we will have to. We need to get cameras in that dungeon. Fast.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's Impact last week and this week coming up, as well as Sacrifice card. Its Impact is on that for Ultimate Stylers. It's 1:30 in the morning and 1 a.m. for everyone else. So, but it should be a good card, good show. But now it is time for that final 10, which is going to be as usual. Just before we go home show, we will give our predictions for Sacrifice. So I'll run for the card one more time for those who missed it. Or it's Moose versus Heath for the Impact World Championship. The Influence versus Inspiration for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Jonah versus PCO. Violent by Design versus Go Brothers for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. It's either Chelsea Green or Tasha Steeles versus Mickey James for the Knockouts World Championship. Trey Miguel versus Jake Something for the X Division Championship. Eddie Edwards versus Rhino. And Alex Shelley versus Jay White. So yeah, it's got we'll go Moose. No, we'll go Shelley versus Jay White. So what's your predictions on that? Who can you see winning it and anything you can see happening in that match?
I think it would make sense for Jay White to be accompanied by Chris Bay and Shelley to be accompanied by Sabin, because Sabin has not been announced for a match. I think you can't have Shelley on the show without some interaction with Chris Sabin. A full time at Anfield, 2-1, which I'm not offended by. I didn't see us going much further in the FA Cup, but yeah, a 2-1 is certainly not a disgraceful loss. So
and you still got further than United. So.
Yes, exactly. Leeds United, I presume you're talking about. I think Jay White is going to win the match. He's got too much momentum with the new Bullet Club 4.0 for life.
Yeah, 4.0. I think so.
Yeah. I can't see Shelley coming back and winning against Jay White, who is one of the most in-demand wrestlers in the world right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a banging match either way. So, but yeah, I'm going to have to go Jay White on this as well.
Yeah.
I just can't see. I mean, Shelley coming back in, he doesn't need to win. To be honest, neither does Jay White. But yeah, I think Jay White is going to win because Impact seems to be getting behind him quite a bit.
Mm.
I'm all for. So and then let's go with Eddie Edwards versus Rhino, and honestly, with this one, it's going to be Eddie with help from On and No More.
Yeah,
Eddie, he can't. I mean, I know he's facing Macklin this tomorrow, but no, Eddie isn't going to lose this one. On and No More will get involved. Maybe Lish gets involved in this one. I don't know, but Eddie Edwards is going to beat Rhino on this one. Then I hope this is going to lead to Heath or maybe actually joining up with Team Impact, and eventually at Rebellion having a what's the word I'm looking for? Match I'm looking for.
Machine Guns versus the Wolves.
No, Lethal Lockdown.
Oh yeah.
I think 5-on-5 Lethal Lockdown. Was it 6-on-6? It was 6-on-6.
I think we'll see some sort of On and No More versus the front line at Rebellion, but I think they'll do the brawl for Supercard of Honor.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's where you'll see it's some sort of War Games style match.
Yeah. I think we have to have a lethal lockdown at some point. We were promised a lethal lockdown, and we have to get it. It has to be coming.
I think they should do Lockdown as one of the Impact Plus specials this year.
I hope so.
Maybe maybe they do that in July or something, and that's where you do the blow off.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. See now, because when they were going to do Lethal Lockdown, they had just random teams thrown together. It felt like, but each team had a knockout, which I enjoyed.
Mm.
So, but that was where I believe where Taylor Wilder was originally supposed to re-debut.
Right.
So, but obviously that dastardly COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so both agreed on Eddie winning that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now it's the X Division Championship. Trey McGowan versus Jake something. I know my prediction straight away. It's going to be Trey.
Yeah, I think Trey retains, but it's going to be a great showing from Jake something. The guy's been on fire since I presume they re-signed him. He's another guy that, overused phrase of the show, knocking it out the park.
Yeah. So Jake's going to have a great showing. He's talking a lot more, which I like, and he's delivering on his promos, which I like. So I still think he needs a manager, a mouthpiece. If they could turn him heel, I think that would be cool. But now I can't see it so much. When he was after the Dina stuff, I thought, yeah, they could turn him heel and put him with a mouthpiece, but nothing's going to work necessarily. But I still think he needs a manager. But who? I have no idea. So then we go on to the Knockouts World Championship. Chelsea Green or Tasha Steeles, maybe both, versus Mickey James for the Knockouts World Championship. And I'm going to say Mickey retains. In either way.
Okay. A lot of times we have the same predictions, and that's not very fun. So I'm going to say Chelsea wins the belt.
Oh.
I'm going to say if it is a three-way, which I hope it is, I think Chelsea wins the championship.
Okay.
And then that's where you start the heel turn. There's no way of putting it. The heel turn of Chelsea Green.
Maybe they do the full major player thing in Impact with Brian Myers, VSK, Chelsea, and potentially Swoggle, if you like, and Smart Moxter as well.
Yeah.
Get that group in. I'm all for it. They're doing well everywhere they go. I think Matt Cordell has now got 6 titles, which is. I like the T-shirt where it says "The Fed was my Indies." I like that.
I haven't seen that. That's great.
Yeah, fucking great stuff. But no, I think Mickey's going to retain. And
yeah, I can see that happening if it's a singles match. Yeah.
I mean, at Rebellion, I think we'll get the blow off of Deonna and Mickey titles versus titles.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I think it happens.
In that case, I hope you're right. I hope Mickey retains, but I'm sticking with my prediction of Chelsea.
Okay, and the Impact World titles next. Tag titles are there. It's Violent by Design versus the Good Brothers. As much as I want Violent by Design to take the titles off the Good Brothers, but unless they have help from God, I can't see it happening. But I will say Violent by Design for now.
Okay, I'm going to go with Good Brothers for the same reason I picked Jay White. Bullet Club 4.0 for life have that momentum, and it wouldn't make sense to take the titles off them just yet.
Okay.
But yeah, cool. I like that you said VBD. I would like to see it.
Yeah. VBD needs something because they're still fine on a level at the minute, but they are slowly creeping below it if they keep losing momentum all the way. EY lost that No Surrender, which wasn't a big loss, but it's still sent them down that slippery slope. So I hope they pick up the win this week on Impact with God against Bullet Club. So, which I forgot to mention earlier, but yeah, it's happening. Violent by Design, God versus Good Brothers and Jay White.
Well, here's the thing with, the rule of negative momentum. If VBD and God go over Bullet Club on Impact tonight, then the Good Brothers definitely retaining.
Yeah, that's usually where it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope BBD win because if they lose because of the GOD, I don't think that affects brothers too much. They've been champions for a long time, and they should have lost the titles a long time ago. Because if obviously with the Bullet Club thing, it's cool, but it still doesn't change my mind on the Good Brothers. It's maybe I can stand it for a bit more longer now, but not too much longer. Like they've given themselves some more time with this, but eventually it has to take its time off the Good Brothers.
But if it's not VBD, who is it? Who takes the belts?
Exactly. I guess it could still be GOD. I guess it could still be, but
Motor City.
I hope so. That'd be great.
It could be OGK.
Yeah,
I would love to see.
Could even be the Wolves.
That would be nice. I'd like to see that.
So next matchup we have Jonah versus PCO, which is a tough one to call, to be honest, because Jonah should win, but PCO is a new guy, like technically an Impact. Like, I can't see how this one goes because it's an interesting one. I mean, two big men, and obviously PCO doesn't give a damn what he does to his body, so anything can happen. I don't know. Who can you see winning Jonah versus Jonah and PCO?
So on the last two shows, I've predicted a couple of no contests, and they haven't happened. So this is the match I would go for a no contest, but because Impact don't seem to be doing them at the moment, certainly not on pay-per-view, I'm gonna have to pick a winner, and it's flip of the coin. I'm gonna go PCO because he's my guy.
Okay, in that case, I'll go Jonah.
Wicked.
Okay. Yeah, he seems more likely to me in this scenario, but anything can happen on a no more.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. The Influence versus the Inspiration. The Knockouts World Tag Team titles. I'm fully, and all will be fully behind the Inspiration.
Yeah, I think that's where it goes, isn't it? I can't see Inspiration losing them just yet.
No, they're going to break the record of EY and ODB. It's going to happen with this team.
Yeah,
but I still see more of them in the ring on TV. We may be getting a singles match tonight, tomorrow. I still want to see more of them on TV because, like, maybe it's part of their contract that they don't have to work TV as much, but they're on your roster. That the TV audience, live TV audience, doesn't get to see them that much in the ring. They get to see them on the screen. Like that's not that's not for. If you put them on every poster, fans almost expect to see them in the ring in front of their eyes, not just on a pay-per-view or on the screen. So I hope we get to see more TV stuff from them because they're the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I'm almost forgetting about the titles.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I hope to see.
I can't see the Inspiration having Brock Lesnar style contracts where they only do a certain amount of dates. I can't see them, having enough pull to get that contract. I also can't see them even wanting that style contract. I think they want to work. It's just been an unfortunate set of circumstances recently. I think going forward, we do see more of them on TV.
I hope so, because like I said, I've been a huge fan of the Inspiration, the Iconics, since NXT. Like, I mean, there's a WWE Women's Tag Titles were made for them, but they didn't get them.
I was at that WrestleMania when they won the belts.
Yeah, I just love that moment. When it's time for Impact, I was so happy. Because it's always been a big fan. My sister Steph, she doesn't like them at all. She's not a fan of the Inspiration.
Why?
I think She doesn't find them funny, which I know a lot of people don't.
I think this is a conversation, a massive conversation for another time in terms of comedy wrestling. A lot of comedy wrestling is very forced, very choreographed, and therefore not organic. But the way, you know, the influence, the inspiration, well, both of them really, the way they talk, and it's obviously not set up jokes. It's just the way they react to each other and to the people they're talking to. It's very organic, and so in my opinion, they are very, very funny.
Yeah, it's just them. Like, I know, or watching their podcast off her chops. On the first episode they did, where straight after Battle for Glory, where they won the titles, like they mentioned that they show up to the TV tapings, do their bit, and then they leave. They don't hang around; they leave, which I think they said it's more to do with their nerves of being in a new place. So hopefully that's changed, because obviously, because they were worried that this people were looking at it negatively, backstage looking at it negatively, which I hope isn't the case, because they are stars. Like, they really are stars, and I want to see a lot more of them in the ring, though, because they're a great tag team. They have great chemistry because they know each other, and you can't fake that. So all for that. And then I assume will be the main event. It's Moose versus Heath. Well, maybe not actually, because it's Heath. But yeah, it's Moose versus Heath for the Impact World Championship. Moose is going to win this one. I haven't got a second doubt in my mind that Moose is going to retain, because I can, if like I said, it does get to Bound for Glory. Depending on where they put Bound for Glory in October, Moose could potentially break Bobby Roode's record. So if for his case, I ain't got a problem with that, because Moose has been a great champion so far.
Yeah, definitely.
I know it started a bit frustrating for some people, but it's been a great run. Moose is pushing everyone to get a match with Roman Reigns, and I'd be for that match. Like, but if Reigns is probably going to lose to Brock at Mania, so probably won't happen now. But Moose versus Saban, Heath. So Moose is going to win this one, and I can't wait for it, because it's going to be good. Heath may not have a lot of people believing that he can win it, but I guarantee there'll be a few moments in the match where you think, "Oh shit, he's actually won this." This is what Impact do well. So yeah, I'm saying Moose.
Yeah, 100% Moose retains and goes on to beat Bobby Roode's record. 100%.
And that's that for another week. The Sacrifice this Saturday, Sunday morning for UK fans. Impact every single Friday morning for Ultimate Insiders, and Friday during the day if you watch it on Impact Plus, you can't have to stay up for it, which I get, because it's very frustrating. I have to wait till half one when you have to stay on Twitter because everyone's tweeting about the first half. So yeah, that's that for another week. Impact is going to be banging. Available 99p on Insiders if you watch Impact every week for 99p a month. $4.99 for a month for the Ultimate Package, where you get to watch the Plus specials. And Impact do this thing now, TNA Tuesdays. They show the TNA pay-per-views on YouTube, and you get to chat along with people watching it as well, which is very cool. I haven't caught one yet because I don't get alerts. My alerts on YouTube are buggered. But
well, the most recent TNA Tuesday was Turning Point 2009, which is one of the best wrestling pay-per-views of the past 20 years. It's the one with the main event, AJ, Joe, and Daniels for the world title, not the X Division title, not the one that got 5 stars, but still absolute classic. Also, Kurt Angle versus Nigel McGuinness, Desmond Wolfe.
Oh,
which was
what a
amazing.
match.
You've also got, I think it's Beer Money, Motor City Machine Guns, and the British Invasion for the tag titles. You've also got Homicide versus Amazing Red. You've also got Bobby Lashley versus Scott Steiner. It's a hell of a pay-per-view. Check it out on TNA Tuesdays. It's amazing.
Yeah, and speaking of Desmond Wolfe, just above Nixon, you will see Desmond Wolfe with the Numbers Don't Lie. Speaking of Numbers Don't Lie, it is Sacrifice this Saturday night, and it's just going to be another great Impact Plus special, Impact Insider special, whatever they're called now. It should be a great match, great show. Just it's Impact. They're doing so great. It's Hard to Kill, banger after banger after banger. So yeah, go check all that out. Every Saturday, check out the Mothership live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central in the States, 8 p.m. EST in the States, which is 1 a.m. for us in the UK. If you don't want to stay up for it, I get it. But then it's uploaded to YouTube Sunday around 6 p.m. for us in the UK. So go check that out. If you like what you see here, you can follow me at Mr. Impact Craig. You can follow Nixon at Peter Nixon ESQ. You can follow us, what we're all doing at TNIW channel. So much stuff coming up with Jeff, Lucha, and it's with the LOL TNA stuff. So just go check all that out. Should be a lot of fun. Plenty of stuff coming out. Drop a follow on Twitch at twitch.tv/TNIW channel and help get to 82 followers before episode 82. And just enjoy what we do. If you like what we do, drop us a comment, or if you listen to us on audio on Spotify, give us a rating. If we are now available on Apple Podcasts, so write us a review. And if you start writing us reviews, we might read some out. Comments, we want to start reading your comments out. Tell us if you want us to talk about anything, or if you want to see a certain wrestler on TBN chats, let us know. In the works of hopefully getting someone, but we'll let you know as and when that develops.
Oh, we've got some great stuff planned for TBN chats.
Yeah, but before that, you can go check out episode 1 with Lizzie Evo, episode 2 with Ricky Knight Jr., episode 3 with Len Davis, and episode 4 with PJ Knight. And just, anyone you want, just let us know. We'll try our best. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I know we've gone long. I know we've gone really long today, but it's been a really fun episode, and I don't think people mind us going long. If you listen to us, or if you watch us and you don't follow the TNAIW, the main show, the Mothership with Jeff and Max, it's the way that I enjoy TNA discussion, Impact Wrestling discussion via podcast. And their stuff is really entertaining, really insightful, informative, and it's listening to that is the way that I, came into contact with Craig, and it's the reason we're doing this show now.
Yeah, let's go out and check what they do, because without that, I wouldn't be here. Nixon won't be here. This won't be happening. So if you enjoy what we do, go and check the Mothership out, because it's all love, all wrestling. Just
we need to get a T-shirt for pro wrestling.
Yeah. Hope we did have a plan for T-shirts. Hopefully we'll be working on that, and T-shirts will be coming soon. You've seen the T-shirts just made already, like Who Kidnapped Joe and the TNIW chat member. So just go check them out every Saturday night, Saturday morning for the UK on Twitch, and just enjoy it. But I guess that is that. Now that is that for another week. You can catch us every Thursday on YouTube. Plans to go live very soon, so keep tuned for that. And you can catch next week will be our Sacrifice review, and we might throw some other stuff in there. But until then, until next time, I've been the MIC. He's been Nixon and will continue to be Nixon. Until next time, goodbye, my friends.